S&P bond rating summary, and then we have action items with consideration and action on the following: abatement at 392 Main Street, abatement at 425 Main Street, temporary dock application at 161 Westwood Drive, consideration of the housing coordinator job description, town planner revised job description, approval of bond of sale of the senior center, consideration on ARPA funding for surveying the bike park on Route 15 Shepherd property, consideration on a special one-day liquor licenses for Shelby, Arpin, and Altruist on dates listed, possible action to decommission the Charter Review Committee, a variety of reappointments to Design and Review, Historic Commission, Planning Board, Historic Commission, and Design and Review. A letter of resignation from Matthew Orbzut. Consideration and possible action on the application for the Trails Committee for use of the Riverlands. Possible action on transient vendor license for Mountain New England Antique Arms Society for Historical Antique Military Show on June 7th and 8th. Potential requests for proposals for the water tower antenna on Fisk Hill and St. Anne's. Possible action to reopen the town meeting warrant. Possible action to amend Article 14 of the town budget line. Consideration possible action regarding FinCom's motion on Article 33 of the Stelling Hill water tank replacement. Consideration possible action on the senior center principal and interest payment. Consideration possible action to close the annual town meeting warrant. Consideration and possible action to reopen the special town meeting warrant. Consideration and possible action to update numbers on Article 56 snow and ice removal deficit. Consideration and possible action to update numbers on Article 57 unpaid bills of a previous year. Consideration and possible action to include Article 60 Old Sturbridge Village easement to the special town meeting. Consideration and possible action to close the special town meeting warrant. Consideration and possible action on permitting and engineering manager job description, old business town administrator review, new business, correspondence, approval of minutes from 4 days, citizens forum, and then executive session from which we expect to adjourn. So with that, can everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, and then again, I'd just like to everybody take a moment of silence for the wars going on in the Middle East and Europe. Thank you. Public service announcements 2024 Sturbridge Business of the Year Award Program. You want to take that one?
Yep, so that's the annual program where several categories are voted on for Business of the Year. It is produced through the Sturbridge Tourism Association. Anybody who's interested can pop on and take a look at that. Voting is actually done through the Sturbridge Tourism website. So if you're interested, www.experiencesturbridge.com. Favorite categories are shopping, eating, staying, and playing. So, eating I can attest to, but I can't pick one, so. That's it on that.
All right, and then reorganization of the board.
So I will take nominations for chair of the board.
I'll make a motion to nominate Jamie Goodwin for chair of the board.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
About that, other motions?
And any motions for any other nominations for chair?
Okay.
Hearing none, then I'll take a vote on Jamie Goodwin as chairman of the board. So, vote passes 5-0.
Okay. So moving to vice chair, do we have any motions?
I nominate Chase.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor? The ayes have them. All right. Last but not least, clerk of the board. Do we have any nominations? You want it again, Mary?
And I'll do it if nobody wants it, but if nobody wants to nominate it, so I don't want anybody jumping up after
to nominate myself.
Well, I will nominate Mary Dowling for clerk. I wanted to see if you wanted it. For Board of Selectmen.
Pretty easy job.
All right, so I'll nominate you. Are we second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? All right, thank you, everyone. All right, moving to department reports. Chief?
Good evening.
Good evening. Evening.
You have reports for the first 4 months of the year. I apologize for my absence. I had knee surgery at the end of January that laid me up for about 6 weeks. So, a couple of things to note. Our call volume continues to increase over last year slightly. I think the more important note here is that the nature of the calls that we're responding to seem to be getting more and more intricate as far as the emergency medical service requirements. The amount of time we're spending with patients seems to be getting longer and longer because of the need to provide intervention prior to the hospital. So the firefighters are going out on calls that are now taking longer than they have in the past, which unfortunately means those firefighters aren't available for the next call. The other problem we're seeing, and I think I've mentioned this before, there are more and more instances of simultaneous calls happening. That means that when the first 911 call comes in and an ambulance responds and those folks are tied up, and then the next call comes in before they're clear, we either call people back in or we have to call mutual aid for that call, which sometimes takes us a little bit longer to respond because of those two factors. We're seeing that more and more, and I see it in area towns as well. It's not a Sturbridge issue. It's just, I think that the number of calls industry-wide are just increasing on a daily basis. So those couple things to note about the reports, I just wanted to bring to your attention. Any questions about the first 4 months?
Questions from the board?
No?
We were fortunate, we had a wet spring, so we didn't have a lot of brush fires. The number of structure fires is pretty consistent year to year. So I'm pretty happy there. Some things I wanted to bring your attention to. We received nearly $15,000 grant from the Department of Fire Services to purchase new equipment. That grant is going to be used to purchase airbags. Those airbags are used when we go on vehicle accidents. They help us lift the vehicles or stabilize the vehicles. The airbags that we currently have are quite old, and they're rubber, so they do tend to dry rot. So this, it's about $14,900 is going to be used to purchase new airbags to replace the ones that we currently have. Deputy Chief Martell, 2 weeks ago, was down in Emmitsburg, Maryland at the National Fire Academy for a week. He was there to review AFG grant applications. There's a peer review process, and he was invited down to participate in that. Which I think is a benefit to us because he's reading application and knows what not to put in the next time. So hopefully it will be a benefit for us. Tuesday and Thursday, we interviewed potential new hires. We have 2 positions to fill. We interviewed 6 individuals. I've made offers to 2 of them. They have tentatively accepted those offers. So they are beginning in the process of onboarding and pre-hire activities, including a medical exam, et cetera. My hope is that we'll have everything buttoned up to be able to bring them to you for the May 20th meeting. The Tantascwa Fire Academy is, by all accounts, just a great asset to the school and to the town. We were supposed to only have 12 students in this class. We ended up with 18 students. There was that much interest. So much so that the principal has asked us to continue it again next year and consider running an EMT program in conjunction with the Fire Academy part of the program for the students. So I'm really proud of what we've accomplished and what we're looking to move forward doing, and I think it's a fantastic thing for the town. A little bit of a side note, one of the individuals I offered a position to came to our junior fire academy in 2019. We ran a summer program, 1 week summer program. She was 12 or 13 years old at the time, and now she's come full circle, and I've offered her a full-time position. So I'll speak more of that the night we bring her forward, but I'm pretty excited about that. Training, Lieutenants Ash and Becker recently went to an active shooter training program that the state is supporting or recommending. This is the program that the state wants all of the first responders to use the techniques and the teachings from. So Lieutenant Becker and Lieutenant Ash went to an initial program to kind of audit it, for lack of a better term. They had positive reviews, so the plan is to send as many of our people through that as possible. I've spoken with Chief Desert, and he thinks it's a fantastic idea, and I think as we get a little bit further into the training, there'll be some coordinated training between us and the police department on active shooter incidents. The purpose of this training is to teach the paramedics how to actually enter a hot or an active shooter situation with the police entry teams to take care of critically injured people while the incident is actually happening. So it's a pretty intense program, but they spoke very highly of it. So we have members attending fire officer classes. We have members attending fire instructor classes. We continue to do our daily group training and our monthly group training. And the last big thing of note is J. Mark Coldy, who was appointed approximately 2 years ago, is graduating from paramedic school Thursday night. He's taken his national, both his psychomotor and his written exams and passed them. So Thursday night is his ceremony, and we will begin doing his field training time to get him cleared as a paramedic as quickly as we can. Good news on that front.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. That's it. That's a lot, but that's it. Any questions?
I just wanted to follow up on the high school course. The principal wanted to look into maybe like an EMT.
Yeah.
Now, would that be like a few sessions? Is that a semester long, a year long?
It would be a semester. So
Nice.
what we did this year is there was a little bit of confusion with scheduling for the fall. So we started the class in January, and it's been a huge hit. And now he's asked that we consider running an EMT program in the fall, for the fall semester, and then the fire program in the spring
Oh, so
semester.
still one semester and one semester.
Yeah, there's a bunch of logistical stuff that has to happen before we can get that EMT program off the ground. But we're going to try and work to get it done. If not this September, it'll happen in September of '25. But
So you had 18 students. Are they mostly seniors or?
juniors and seniors.
Okay.
In fact, I guess last week was senior skip day, and there was a handful of them left. So that, you know, and I mean, being a technical high school, there are a number of kids who go out and do their internships now too. So we know we're going to lose some kids to that too. But the program has been a huge success. The school is thrilled that it's going on. The students are very positive about it, have nothing but good to say about it. And, you know, the instructors that have been there from not only our department, but Brookfield, Wales, Holland, and Brimfield have just been phenomenal. And they're getting a 10,000-foot view of what firefighting is, but they're putting turnout gear on, they're putting air packs on, they're climbing ladders, they're spraying hoses, you know, so they really are getting a good taste of it. And just like the junior fire program, I'm hopeful that at some point I'm going to see the benefits of doing this class in the form of somebody coming and working for us. So that's really the goal behind it.
Thanks.
All right, anything else? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. All right, Robin.
So I don't have a biweekly memo because I had several memos in front of each of bunch of different items, and it seemed more appropriate to put them with items. I will say that on May 9th at 11 o'clock and at 7 o'clock, we have the Sullivans presenting on opioid, the Sullivan message. It's a husband and wife team. The husband was a former New England Patriot who battled addiction. The wife lost her daughter to opioid addiction, or actually underage alcohol, binge drinking. And they're speaking at 11. It's an open audience at 11 at the Public House. The police department is offering transportation to anybody who would like to attend who can't otherwise. So if they're battling an addiction issue and have a license issue or a substance issue, they can reach out to the PD, and the PD would happily give rides to the event. The 7 o'clock is primarily focused for community, school, parents. That evening message also at the Public House. You can go on the Sturbridge Rec site. It's asked that people sign up, but there's no cost or anything like that. They're just trying to get a sense of numbers. That's all being funded through the Sturbridge Opioid Support, SOS, which is our group that has come up with the name of that to use the opioid settlement money that's coming in nationally. And then on May 9th at 1, I will be out at Podunk Road with National Grid, and we've put word out to as many of those neighbors as we can. We posted it on Facebook. We will be in the tree warden to look at those poles, the lines, where the poles are going to go in front of people's houses, which trees are coming down, which trees we don't want coming down, because there are a lot of marked trees. So Tony will be out there with us, Heather will be out there, and I don't, Gina, you?
I didn't get the notice.
Oh, I don't think I threw you in on that loop, on that one. I try not to spread it out to everybody who doesn't have to be. So we'll have a group of us out there as a team, as well as Grid and neighbors who want to come out. So that meeting is happening. And that's it for me on the biweekly memo. The S&P summary, Barbara is here. We did have our bond rating meeting, as you know. It was Jean, Barbara, and myself. Barbara, if you want to address it, feel free. I will say, the history of the town, the strong fiscal history of the town definitely came through. We really wanted to go AAA. We sort of hustled it and pushed it as far as we could. We are really prohibited from reaching that mark by things that are out of our control. Median home values, median income, and the Worcester County retirement system not being funded. Those are things that drive us to taking that one step further. They pretty much came right out and said there's absolutely nothing we can do different or better to control that, which is a little frustrating. But that was sort of the gist of it. But if you want to go on and talk a little bit more about.
Yeah, I'll just for anyone that's watching from home, because I mean, this really is a big thing to be rated by Standards & Poor's. As Robin said, our AA plus stable bond rating was confirmed, and we did, as she said, push to, what is it going to be? What do we need to do in order to become a AAA community? And pretty much the same stuff that back in 2019, which was the last time we issued bonds, we did a refunding then, and the message then was probably, you never will. And the message now was pretty much the same thing. A little bit more positive as far as internal things, which, makes me happy. But they basically said that there are certain parts of our credit that absolutely fall in the AAA category. And the examples they gave were finances and management, but then the things that we cannot control are household income is one. They compare us to other communities of 10,000, but in the eastern part of the state, which obviously we can't compete with. They look at like stressors of the community. So how would we withstand pressures if GDP fell? And then outside things, again, that we can't control, Worcester Regional Retirement. So if you take the time to read the actual rating, it specifically calls out Worcester Regional Retirement in there. They're only funded at like 43%, which they consider to be very low. But I will just highlight a couple or a few of the things that were positives. So well-embedded financial policies and practices, positive operations and high reserve levels relative to those of its in-state peers, that we maintain a steady tax base, household incomes are slightly above average nationally, Recent economic development and appreciation in the existing tax base resulted in good tax base growth and lowering of tax rates. So even though everybody looks at the tax rate, right, and it goes up and down, but really a sign of it going down has to do with values going up. And so that's obviously a positive that, our values continue to grow. 2023 operating results were positive. We have favorable revenue and expenditure variances. Consistency is one of the things that's really important to them, which we continue to maintain, and we continue to be conservative in our budgeting, but we follow what our practices have been. We're not all over the place with, things going up and down, because that's not what they want to see. And then the town maintains strong available reserves, and it targets to keep above 10% of expenditures in accordance with fund balance policies. We did let them know, or I let them know, that we do intend to, bring forth revisions to our policies that more accurately align with what we've been doing over the past several years. The other thing that at some point in time we'll have to look at, and it doesn't have to be immediate, but so OPEB, other post-employment benefits, great that we're budgeting something, but when we bring the policies forward, we might want to look at just slightly tweaking those every year to kind of grow that number, because as the liability grows and we continue to just fund the same dollar amount, we're really not gaining, we're gaining, but the number is also expanding outward as the cost of health insurance just continues to get more and more expensive. And then one of the things that they did acknowledge was that our reserves continue to grow, and that's been over a decade, and that was something that they actually highlighted to us, which goes back to that AAA status of financials. But then again, AA plus stable is nothing to, the town should be very proud of that. And let's see, I think that's pretty much the items that I wanted to highlight. So we will have to go to market again once the senior center project is done for any of the additional costs. So that'll be probably sometime in 2025. So we'll do this all over again, but that's the rating, and then I will talk about the sale when you get to that. Okay.
I just want to take a moment to thank Barbara, because this is, when you do a ratings call and you are rated, it is a really nice outside look at your finances for your community and your overall leadership within your community, and Barbara's consistency in the work she's done over the 30-some odd years she's been here, but particularly the last 10 or 15. I think is certainly a credit, and it's nice to see it recognized from outside. I know it on the inside, I know what we're looking at, but it's nice to hear that when we're talking to the rating agencies and we see results like that. So I'd just like to thank Barbara for continued tremendous effort.
I just have a couple questions.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, a little bit of a cold. Barbara does an excellent job. Are you saying the ones that, I know it's beyond our control, some of the factors why we can't be at AAA, and then funding the Worcester Regional Retirement was one. Are the communities that are at AAA funding their retirement?
So a lot of the communities
Surprised.
So we're at Worcester Regional.
Right.
So we're Worcester Regional Retirement. Then other communities are in different, they're not all under Worcester Regional.
Right.
So so a lot of those other retirement, they are at a higher funding level.
But no one in Worcester Regional.
So, right, so there was one community, I asked the financial advisor, and she said, Shrewsbury, and I was like, right away, Shrewsbury has their own retirement system. So it seemed like everyone in Worcester Regional is not. So most of the AAA communities are in the eastern part of the state, and then there's some outliers in Western Mass, and our financial policies and our stability, our growth of our economic, all that, in my opinion, is well above, at least, I could say that absolutely for one of the communities that I'm aware of. And he kind of skated over that a
He
little
didn't really
bit.
answer
He
that.
didn't really answer.
But nobody in
so-
Worcester Regional Retirement is AAA.
No,
don't
I
think
mean,
it- not that we were
I
able to
looked
find.
quickly, but it's hard to, you literally have to, like, there's no way to, that I found, to be able to just quickly pull a report by like Worcester County and be able to see what so you literally have to like, be like, kind of scanning the report. But yeah, so, I mean, the good news is everything we're doing internally,
Oh, no,
It's,
it's,
you know,
we
it's
stay
good.
the same,
And our
basically.
borrowing rate, as you'll see, came out actually very, very
I
good.
was just curious.
Yeah.
What would it, I know it's, that our bond rating affects what we're able to borrow for, obviously. So if you are AAA, how much of an improvement on interest
the
rates
rate.
do? Yeah.
So I will get back to you on that.
Just
because
curious.
In,
FinCom
at the
asked
end,
us.
yeah, FinCom
Oh, they
asked
asked
us
us the
too.
question.
So at the end of May, I will get a report of everyone who went to market in May. So it's really, I can go back to April, but the problem is, it's like the market is so different every day,
Mm.
right? So unless you have like 2 sales in the same day, but I will try to find you that information.
curious what
Just
it
to
would
do
be.
like a comparison of if a AAA community went to market on this day and so did a AA
We
plus, what
3.2
was.
and A 3.4.
And then the other thing that, too, for things to be apples to apples, we borrowed for 20 years. So if a community went to market and they were AAA, but they did 15 years, of course, the rate's going to change. But I'll see what I can find for you, and I'll pull that together. I told the FinCom I would do the
Yeah.
same.
And so where
It's
our
going to be,
income is.
it's going to be minimal, probably.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that, well, I don't know if it's significant. It's not my area of
Yeah.
knowledge. And so it wasn't a high enough income, and our median house value, is that you
Median
said?
home
What
value
was the
they
other
look
factor?
at,
I mean,
I think the median home value was one of the, I know income.
They don't necessarily, so let's see.
I think that came up in the discussion during the call, at the beginning of the call, something.
because I just feel like I just feel like our median house value has increased quite a bit in
It
the
has,
last
but the
5
problem
years.
is
Certainly our
that they're
taxes.
comparing us with
Eastern.
eastern part of the state.
Oh, I know, so we can't get compared to Worcester County because that's where,
It's not how they bond.
I know, but
But
well,
that-
it is in
but that-
terms of our retirement.
Right, but the whole thing is when they do your rating and they say if you're going to be a AAA community, they're comparing you to other AAA communities.
Right.
So they're not saying, okay, if we take all the communities in Worcester County,
Right, but are there AAA communities in Worcester County?
that's what I don't know. I will
Oh,
try
okay.
to,
Okay, because I just feel like, you almost have to be a suburb of Boston to have the kind of salaries that they want.
Because the pension system is an unfunded liability on the community when it's funded at 43%. So if it was 100 at 100%, then it would be a distinction, whereas all these other things are put more to that particular point. But if that fails, that's a liability that we straight up have in a way that other ones we don't.
and what's interesting is they talk about the retirement system only being at the 43%, but then they also say that they don't, so the Worcester Regional Retirement assessment is going to grow by like 9.5% to 10% every single year to get to that full funding. But then they also in the report say, but they don't think that will be a pressure on the community. So they're almost saying like, even though it's not fully funded, and even though it will be like the 9.5 or 10, I don't remember, it was somewhere in that range. We know Sturbridge will be able to handle that increase, but we're still.
But it's not good enough to budget
It
to
isn't.
AAA,
It
so
isn't,
anyway,
so-
okay, thank
Well, the
you.
reality of it all is it's all somewhat political anyways, because the Commonwealth's probably never going to let the Worcester County Retirement Board fold. And a lot of the issues that have come up are from the Commonwealth, frankly, not enforcing their regulations long enough. But I think so with all of that sort of stated, I think that the important thing to realize is that you just are doing a great job, Barbara, and it really is.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. So, all right, so I think that's all we need.
Yep, that's it from my report, sorry.
So we have to step back, and we're gonna take something a little out of order, because I think Chase has a work thing he needs to deal with at 7:30. So we're gonna go to action item F, which is consideration and possible action on approval of bond sale for the senior center, and we have a memo from Robin on this particular issue. You want to
Yes.
chat about for a second, Robin?
So this is actually, I think it's actually a Barbara memo that I forwarded.
Yeah.
And this is simply the sale of the the bonds, and we got a 3.45% interest rate, and we need officially a vote. And how that's gonna be, and Barbara can explain it, is you don't have to read that whole page. So if you see this, yeah, it's from Barbara to me, and so we issued 11,450 general obligation bonds, resized based on the premium to 10,860, 12 bids we received, which was great, and the interest rate was 3.451447. And so you need to take the formal vote, and you just can vote it as written, is I believe how.
Yep, so you have the vote of the board. You can actually make a motion to adopt the vote as prepared by bond counsel, so that you don't have to read every single thing, but in your minutes, it'll have to be listed as written.
Okay, questions, comments from the board? All right, do we have a motion?
Barbara had the best words for it.
I think
I
it's
make
just
a
a-
motion.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think it's in
Yeah.
Robin's memo, it's just that
Yeah.
we're listed as
Whoever-
bond con.
Whoever that is.
Uh,
Okay, I make a motion that the town approve the bond rating at 3.45%.
So you want to say to adopt the vote as prepared by bond counsel.
As prepared by bond counsel.
So, all right, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Was that sufficient?
That is sufficient, yes.
All right, all those in favor? Great, the ayes have it. Thank you, Barbara.
Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you. I'm just going to grab Mary Dowling's signature two
She's
more
officially the
times
clerk
now that I got the focus.
Yeah, that was close. Nobody really wanted to do it, so. Nobody really wanted to nominate me
Somebody's
either,
gonna
but
do
that's.
No, I think we
okay.
wanted to nominate you, we didn't know if you wanted to do it, your
This is
body
like the
language.
easy one.
One more. There's
Oh. Oh, sorry.
That's
3.5 is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
and-
can't complain about that.
No, and we got 12 bids, which was excellent.
Excellent.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Thank you, Barbara.
All right, so we're moving back to action, going back in order, which is consideration and possible action on an abatement request from Brian Treitman for the property located at 392 Main Street in Sturbridge. Come
So
on
you
down.
all have in your packet an email from Mr. Treitman. Heather Barber and I reviewed it. It does not fall into the category of the automatic staff abatement, so it got moved forward to the board.
Okay, Mr. Treitman, what's going on here?
I got a water bill this past quarter for 5 times my normal annual bill. I got a phone call in March from the water department saying that they found a leak underneath my building, or underneath the convenience store, and they were shutting off the water. And apparently there was a pressure valve that failed underneath the building. It's a dirt floor underneath there. The water went down into the floor. But I have, like, our water meter is in a crawl space underneath the convenience store. I have no access to it unless I go through the convenience store. It was apparently spraying underneath there for months, and the water department and my plumber that I sent down there smelt it and heard it, but didn't, like, no one said anything, like, hey, this is weird. And it was spraying on their electrical, which is why the water, or the town shut it off. It's since been fixed. I've put in as of yesterday, there's a new valve on it that will send me an alert if there's a weird amount of, or an excess amount of water being used, and also shut off the water. But, I mean, the bill that I got is 5 times what I normally pay for annually. It's $21,000. I'm normally around $4,000 a year, $4,000 to $5,000 a year. And I just can't afford to do anything with that.
All right, questions, comments from the board?
So it was not going back to the water system. It was just
Down a
on the dirt
dirt
floor,
floor.
leaking through. And our sewer bills are always higher than our water bills, so that's, that's quite a bit there for water that didn't get, really reused. Even though it's not reused, it didn't go back into the sewer system. What's your normal bills run?
It's somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 a year.
I think it's the last,
Oh, page?
yeah, we have a page right here.
Yeah, no, I've got it.
Okay, we're all set, Heather, thank you. So do you own the building?
I own my part of the building, so they're commercial condos. So I own 7 and 8, or no, 8 and 9. And the gas station owns their part of the building, and then the rest of the building is owned by someone else. I'm forgetting his name, George something. The gas station and my water are on the same line. I've always paid their water bill because they have a bathroom and like a sink, and that's about it. They don't do anything with it. And for us to try to figure out how to separate that, like my plumber went and looked at it, it's almost impossible because of the way that it comes into the meter, and then it goes into a cement slab through the building, and so there's no way to separate it. And there's no place we will try to move the meter, and there's no way to do that either without like digging up the parking lot and part of the street.
So are you saying, though, that the leak is fixed?
The leak has been fixed, and now that the valve that I put in, it's Wi-Fi'd, and it'll send me a note and it automatically shuts off. So even if the Wi-Fi goes down, if there's abnormal water usage, it'll just shut off.
Can you just, oh, I'm sorry, Mary, you done?
Oh, yes.
You said in March, the water department noticed something funky, a
So when
leak,
they went
and
to
didn't say anything? I guess I want to
So
hear a little more about that.
when they went to do the meter reading, they noticed the high usage and then went to explore it, and
Okay.
they found the leak. And
And
shut off.
when did this happen?
March 28th, I believe. I think is when they did the reading, something like that.
Oh, so when they went to do their
When they
normal
went to-
reading?
When they went to do the normal reading, they saw an abnormal usage. And then called me and said, hey, we're shutting off your water because there's a leak and it's leaking on electrical down here. And it needs to get fixed.
So they contacted you right away when they saw
Yes.
the problem?
Yes.
I mean, I don't mean.
Yeah, I didn't understand, like, I didn't know that it had been going on that long. They didn't say, hey, they just said, hey, we found a water leak underneath the building and we need to shut it off.
Right,
And so then when I got the bill, I was like, holy, this is insane.
right. And how come you don't have access to it again?
Because it's underneath the convenience store, Sam's, the gas station.
And Sam's doesn't let you,
I have no reason to, I mean, it's where the water meter is and where the water comes into the building.
okay,
But it's underneath, so you have to go behind their counter, and then there's a trap door underneath that goes to a crawl space that's, this tall, that someone has to crawl into
and that reads it for all the units?
that's for my unit and the gas station.
There's just the two?
And how can we be sure that that's not going into the sewer system?
Because it didn't recirculate.
It went into a
drain,
it was a
just went
dirt
into the floor.
Yeah.
There's a dirt floor underneath the building.
Yeah,
And the water department said that they would attest to that also.
yeah, there's no pipe there for it to,
Yeah, it just,
like at your house. Well, do you have water and sewer?
No, I have a well.
yeah, it's not like a finished basement or anything, it's just a crawl, so there's concrete pylons holding the building up, and then there's a dirt subfloor, and it just went into the dirt subfloor.
Well, I guess the issue that I have with it, and I don't want to speak for the board, but is usually when we've had these conversations recently where there's some onus on the town will then consider whether or not to abate. Here, there really isn't, as far as I can see, anything the town could have done differently. And so it is sort of just a private property issue. And maybe I'm missing something here if anybody else on the board feels differently.
I mean, the thing that I'm struggling with is the sewer portion of the bill. You know, it's evident that it did not go and recycle through the sewer, so I would be in favor of abating that portion of the bill. I do agree, I don't know what the town could have done differently as far as the water portion of the bill.
I mean, the only thing that from my discussion with other, like with plumbers and around, is that we don't have any warning system in the town. So, I mean, if this is thousands and thousands of dollars worth of water, if no one on the water board or in the town knows that, hey, we're losing all this water, that's an issue in my mind, that there should be some kind of check valves on, and other towns have that on their water meters.
And while I agree with you, I guess it goes back, because you installed the leak meter yourself, correct?
No.
No, that's a town installed, that's Wi-Fi that goes to you when there's a
Oh,
leak?
the one we just installed,
Yeah.
yes.
So there's a risk of you not having that.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, if someone decides to have water come into their property and not have that Wi-Fi system that notifies you where the leak,
Well, but-
you're also running the risk.
Right, but I mean, most of the times on anywhere where the water comes into the building, it's accessible. This is totally inaccessible, and I mean, it's been there since way before I've been around. This is the first time I've dealt with so the only other time I've dealt with where my water meter is was when the town had trouble reading it, and I got a estimated reading on it, and I asked them why. And they're like, well, we can't read it, we need to update the water meter. And so they, 2 months later, put in a digital water meter so that they didn't have to crawl underneath anymore. But for a while, when I first got there, they were estimated water readings. And so I had no idea where the water came in or where the water meter even was when I bought the building.
So I guess another question I'd have is what is your request tonight?
Sewer.
Definitely the sewer, and if there was anything to do on the water side.
And what's the total cost on the sewer? That's the
$11,750.
well, what's the
The water's $8,024.38.
yeah? And I have the others, the $12,935.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's JC confused me with the lemon.
Yeah, why is mine doing? I got
Why don't they match?
recommend an abatement of the
Yeah,
sewer.
you're looking at the abatement. You're looking
I
at
was
the
looking
bill.
Oh, you're, okay, all right, yep.
All right. Well, I guess do you have anything else? I guess does the board have a motion?
Well, I do want to say this is a strange one. I mean, we've had leaks galore, but not under things, and no warning system to get to it. Yeah, because the historical usage in '23, it was 9,655 cubic feet. '22, it was 9,201. 21, 1,297. No, sorry, 12,997. And back in 2020, it was 10,849.
I guess,
Go ahead, Mary.
are you, Mary, you're
Yes.
done? I mean, I think I agree with Chase with respect to the sewer portion, since the water and sewer department is saying it didn't go through the system. But as far as the water end, I feel very sorry, but I'm really having a hard time justifying an abatement on that area, because I guess the question is it the town's responsibility for the property owner to have access? Or is it the property owner's responsibility when they purchase their property And to go, who has that duty? Is it the property owner in conjunction with the other one saying, I need, why is that falling on the town? I guess that's what I'm grappling with as far as the water end.
Well,
So I don't,
is there agreement on the sewer portion at least?
Yeah.
Okay, so, let's kind of, I think we're all willing to give an abatement on this.
Would you like a motion
Well,
on the sewer?
let's talk about the water for
Okay.
a second. Are we all, I'm of the, I agree with Mary. I tend to believe the water is probably just on the property owner, and that's just because I understand your concerns. This has been a topic of a lot of conversation. By the same token, the structural upgrades that require, those aren't free either, you know what I mean? All of this costs a lot of money, unfortunately. So with that, I'm inclined just to do the sewer myself.
I mean, if there was some kind of a delay on our part, that's why I asked, did we notice it in, December and do nothing about it?
Then there's onus,
But in this case, it looks like they read the meter and then they contacted the property owner. And now there's a system that he's upgraded it so that it won't happen in the future, but.
Yeah.
I don't know if it-
Okay, so do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to abate the sewer portion of $11,750.39 at 392 Main Street.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor? Yeah, I second it. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, we can't do more, it's just, it's not straightforward. Okay. All right. We now moving to our next item, consideration of possible action on the abatement request from Miki Baca for the property located at 425 Main Street.
So you all remember this from last quarter, and a portion of it trickled into this quarter. And so, again, because the internal group, we can't do anything unless it's actually like a billing error. We indicated it would have to come back in front of the board for any continued discussion or potential for abatement for the remainder of the portion until they were made aware of the leak.
All right, I think we talked about this one pretty well last time, unless you guys have anything else you'd like to say to us.
No, I'm hoping the board will have the same outlook on this extension into the Q1 bill as they did the previous one.
All right, does the board?
Well, this is a leak that was in the house, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it was on the undisclosed leak list.
And on the latest bill, there's a past due also.
I would think not. I believe everything was paid.
Well, I read pretty well.
I think it's negative, past due negative 481.
Is that
so
the
wouldn't that
abatement?
be-
See, the amount
That's
is only
positive.
one.
But
The current charges are 2.6.
Check with
The
them.
amount's only 1,200 because the past due is minus 148. So that's like a credit.
So it's a,
That
that's
was the
all.
credit.
That's a
that's
credit,
credit.
so, that's all.
My foggy eyes.
You're scaring me.
It's not like it's that big,
You
so,
didn't see that little negative. So.
yeah, I
I
can't
think
blame her.
last time
Came through.
I think we abated half,
Yeah.
right? We met them halfway in terms of the town's responsibility for not doing anything once we had knowledge of something.
It would be to the point of the knowledge of the leak, not for the whole duration of this billing cycle.
Right.
Yeah.
And do we know where that
Right,
point
and
is?
Heather has that information.
Yeah.
The knowledge of the leak versus,
Yeah, it's
because
the
there
last
was
page
a
of it.
gap.
That's the last page.
There was a
Sorry.
gap between the knowledge and the time it actually got fixed.
Right.
That is not what had been discussed, I don't think, as being the town's responsibility
Right.
or.
So it would be an abatement this time of $1,133.83, Heather? Correct, okay. So, I mean, I'm happy to talk about it more, but I think my inclination would be just do the same thing we did last time, and then
Agreed.
going forward, this is on you guys. you know, we kind of addressed the
We're
issue.
doing the little strips in the toilet tank, we're checking online.
Good.
Now we can check
We are
online.
watching the leak list.
Such a good improvement, thank you. I mean,
Okay.
we can
Yes.
Check online.
We appreciate it. So,
Dedicated.
all right, with that, do we have a motion?
Which one aren't you looking for?
My inclination would be to do the 1,133.83, but if someone has a different motion, that's up to them.
I'll make a motion that we abate the usage. I'll make a motion that we grant an abatement in the amount of $1,133.83
All right,
to the property located at
25 Main Street.
425 Main Street.
I'll second that.
all those in favor? The ayes have it.
Yeah, but,
The ayes have it. I was correct still.
yes, but
It's 4 to
but it
1.
wasn't unanimous.
I didn't say unanimous. All right, ladies, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we're on to action item C, which is consideration and possible action on a temporary dock application for Andelson Makua at 116 Westwood Drive, apartment 15, Sturbridge.
So as you know, we have all along supposed to be getting temporary dock applications. Michelle put the packet together, and we officially are now going through our sort of first round of official temporary dock application permitting. Michelle we did get a letter from the property owner, the project director, so you should have confirming that the property owner also is supportive of this. We wanted to, so we're going through this for the first time, so we're realizing as we go, okay, we need to get that too. It's not a presumption of ownership of the property. So unless there are questions, we're fine with.
First of all, we don't have the map showing the location.
We have a diagram, yeah.
I mean, this could be in the middle of the lake, but we need the, shoreline.
Yeah. So
We'll get
There
that
it
next
is.
time. Yeah, as I said, we're going through this round for the first time, so we're stumbling on our, trying to
No,
get
so
this.
it's fine. These things
Stumbling over our
happen.
own feet on this one.
All right, any other thoughts, concerns? So do we want to, we can hold, or we could make a contingent motion, or do neither? Do you have any strong feelings, Mary?
I prefer holding it.
Okay.
These
Yes,
dimensions are consistent with our guidelines, right?
Yeah, the length and.
Yeah,
width of
everything's
that.
consistent.
Okay, that's what I thought,
We
okay.
just don't know where it is.
yeah. You want to speak to it?
It's my first time here, so.
Okay.
It's okay. No, I thought you said something.
No, I didn't say anything.
I think
Is
we,
it helpful if he describes where it is? Was it?
I actually, I have cameras in the back of yard. I can show you, a video, where it will go.
Yeah, because we need to know
just where it's connected, yeah.
how far from the property lines.
But I don't think cameras are actually going to really help with that. Maybe I'm incorrect. So her concern is that where it's not that she doesn't think you're going to put a dock off the shore. It's that if it goes over to the next side, that's the issue. But I don't. So what I'd suggest is we hold this. And why don't we get a map of it, Michelle? And if there's an issue, we'll let you know that there's an issue. But I don't know that you'll need to come back in here for it. We just might have to take a vote at the next meeting.
Okay. I have the,
Full photo of the actual property?
yeah, so that's the actual property, and that was actually the dock that was gonna go there. So it was gonna be right here.
Okay. No, so but again,
But-
it's more of just a boundary line issue. And that might be, that obviously is the boundary line. We know we're being a little technical.
No worries.
Yeah. But I'd say, is everybody fine just holding it until the next week and we'll just look?
I agree. If Michelle could just get him a plot plan and just take a measurement from each side with a measuring tape and draw on the plan, with a pen, where your dock is gonna go with setbacks.
Yeah.
That's all that I would need.
Yeah, so
on
we
mine.
can get him that
Yeah.
through GIS. We'll get you what you need to draw on, and then you can do that. So the next meeting for this group is May 20th?
Okay.
if you can wait on that, and then we'll,
Have we always had, how far off the property lines?
Yeah, I think we have, yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Yeah, so
Couple of them
we're
have
gonna,
been
it's gonna hold you up a
too
little bit.
close.
Right, I
for
remember
we
that.
made the move.
It should be fine. We just gotta make sure it's placed at the right thing, because an ounce of caution goes a long way here, because otherwise
That's
we
fine.
end up with,
neighbor coming.
yeah, then we end up with fight, then we get two people in here, and that's not what we're looking for.
No, that's
So
fine.
we were sorry to delay you.
email that tomorrow.
so Michelle will get that to you, and then you just draw on there,
Yep.
measure it, and draw on there where it would be. Send that back to Michelle, and we'll get that to the board.
Perfect.
And he won't have to be at the next meeting then?
I suspect that won't be necessary. Is that fine with the board?
We'll take a look at it too. If we
Yeah,
think that
if
there's
there's
gonna
an
be an
issue, they'll let
issue,
you
we'll
know.
let you
You
know.
you might want, I mean,
It's up to you.
yeah, you might want to come, because if we look and then there's a question and you're not here, you don't want to delay it anymore.
Yeah, no
Because
worries.
the summer is coming. So, I mean, do what you want, but my suggestion would be for him to come.
Yeah. So I have 5 weeks for delivery, 5 to 6 weeks for delivery of the dock. That's the reason why I was trying to get it done sooner.
So I don't, so
Well,
I
the
think
dock
the issue with
size
the
is
dock
okay, it's
right.
the, it's where it's gonna be situated on your property. That's why I asked about these dimensions.
Okay.
I mean, you should,
So if you order the dock, it might mean if,
No, I
let's say
haven't
the-
ordered it yet because
Okay.
I was waiting for a
Right, but
decision.
if you were to, I think what they're saying is the dock itself is fine.
Yeah.
It's just exactly the installation of where it's placed that might be in question, so.
Yeah, the scale of the dock is fine. There's no issue.
Question though, because I sent him 2 photos, the landlord. And what you showed me was just one, which is, I sent him 2 because there was 2 sections of the dock. So the dock was supposed to go out 24 feet. And so for the first 16 feet, it was gonna be 4 feet wide. And then the next 8 feet was supposed to be an 8 by 8. So it would go out 24 feet and then 8 feet off to the side of it.
Oh, to the
I don't know
side,
if-
its total
Yeah.
length is 20.
So total length is 24. Yes, total length
Yeah.
is 24. The first 16 feet would be
Would be 4 feet. and then it
4 feet
expands out.
wide, and the next,
Yeah, I think that's still within the bylaw. I know the length is there an additional width one? There's not an additional, well, we have work to do anyways on it, so let's get it
Yeah,
organized for
let's,
next
we'll
time.
get through that tomorrow, we'll get you some
I just
clearance.
want to make sure.
Yeah, we'll
And
get
then
you.
we'll let you know if you can.
Yeah,
install
what
it.
do you-
what is the width? Because I know what you're saying, the first 8 feet, it's
So-
8 foot wide, and then the next one is only 4 feet wide.
So that dock that's there, they have an extension to extend and bring it out more. So basically, it's that same dock, but just another 8-foot extension.
Yeah, it's
going
drawn
further
onto
out.
here, right?
Yeah.
It's like drawn on as an additional 8 feet.
Are you saying there's 8 more feet?
Before.
No, that's.
At the beginning,
He's
yeah,
just
right there.
explaining that.
So that, there would be another 8 feet right there.
Okay, so
It's still only 24 feet.
it's still
though.
24
Yeah,
feet
it's still
though.
24,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I think as long as it's 24 feet, we
Yeah.
should be fine. Okay.
Yeah, it's 24, it's nothing more than that.
All right, excellent. All right, so they'll be in touch and we'll go from there, okay? Perfect. Sorry for the confusion.
No worries, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
See you later. All right, moving to action item D, consideration and possible action on the housing coordinator job description. Hi, Jean.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so what's going on here, Jean?
So I have 2 small items for you tonight, and the first is the new job description for the new proposed part-time housing coordinator position. So as you are aware, our Affordable Housing Trust is up and running, and this year we developed our strategic plan. Actually, Jamie's on our housing trust, so he's familiar with it. But we did develop a strategic plan, and we have goals of hopefully developing some affordable housing in the coming year. Obviously, my department has very little capacity to take on more workload. So in working with our consultant and the trust, we decided that it would be prudent to hire a dedicated person for this. We did look at a variety of options for consultants, which we're having a difficult time getting, or contracting with CMRPC, which was about double the price. And so it made sense to create a job description, hire our own person in-house for, it would be 10 to 15 hours a week. Robin and I would keep a close eye on it the first year to see how it goes. And this did go to the Personnel Committee, and it was approved. It went to the Housing Trust first, was approved, then went to the Personnel Committee, and now I'm bringing it to you this evening. And I know that you've already taken action on the proposed budget for next year for this work as well. So I'm asking that you approve this. And this person would work out of my office and would do education and outreach, provide support to the Affordable Housing Trust, implement some grant programs to create some affordable housing, and also seek other grant opportunities in addition to CPC funds to create affordable housing as well.
Great. Questions from the board? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make them, go ahead, Mary. No, you go ahead.
It's a stand-on, huh? Who's the faster draw?
And Mary then.
Go ahead.
Whatever, you just do it.
I make a motion then that we approve the updated housing coordinator position.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Great. All those in favor? The ayes have it. All right.
Thank you.
Consideration and possible action on the town planner revised job description.
All right, so this one's very simple. At the time that I was developing this job description, I took a look at my own and realized we needed to change housing partnership to affordable housing trust. And then I also thought, since my department's been supporting the Historic Commission so much lately, now that we have an active commission, it really should be in the job description. So those are the only two changes to the entire job description. And I think it's important for you to have in there going forward, because I won't be here forever. I hate to say, 18 years has flown by, so it's, so I've just updated this for consistency. So anywhere it said housing partnership, I've changed it to affordable housing trust, and then also added in the historic commission, and that I also will supervise the housing coordinator. And this too has gone to Robin and to the personnel committee and was approved.
Great. Any questions, concerns? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the town planner's revised job description.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great, the ayes have it.
Thank you.
All right. Then we're moving to action item G, which is consideration and possible action on ARPA funding for surveying for the bike park on Route 15 Shepherd property.
Yep, so 80 Haynes Street is a property that's under our Trails Committee. We've talked with ARPA about doing a bicycle playground. We are working through the conservation restriction and everything else to make sure that that's supported. It is a project that ARPA is supportive of. Right now, we just need to get a survey of that property to find out exactly what size bike playground we can put in, and see what we get from there. We are working with a company that does these things nationwide, some pretty neat ones, and we're pretty confident that for the money we will have left in ARPA, we will actually be able to do this project. There has been some preliminary survey work done on that property that Robin had from way back when senior center projects were being looked at. That survey itself won't be enough. There's more land to survey there, and there have been some changes with the state since then. So ARPA voted to do up to $3,500 for a survey for that property, and we're asking the board for that support.
What exactly is a bike park?
It's a little playground for little bikes with humps, and they were gonna do a pump track. But this actually opens the door for a little wider range of use, and it has little obstacles for little kids on bicycles. So it allows for a more family type of event if someone wants to go hiking on the trails or mountain biking on the trails. A child could stay back and do the little sort of bike playground activities. It's geared toward children.
What is the minimum land requirement for one of those to be effective?
I don't know what the minimum is. They pretty much can taper to what we want. You wouldn't want it so small that the kids can't get any real activity.
Right.
I can get you some square footages on that as we move forward with the project, but I think that's part of why the survey needs to be done, to find out how much land we have to see if that's really the best spot. We think it is. And go from there. So we'll have a better sense of what square footage ranges we have once we have that survey done.
Seems like a good idea.
How much money do we have in ARPA?
So right now, we have approximately, because some projects are giving money back, we're still getting some money back. I will also bring you a library project next month, but we didn't put it on the agenda yet, a small $5,000 project. Annie has a couple other projects. But right now, we have, I believe, $226,000 still left. The senior center building committee voted today to give us $100,000 of the 380 contingency we had set aside for them. So that will put us at about 320 and change.
When do we have to spend that by?
We have to have it allocated by December, spent the following year. So we did ask the senior center building committee if in June they could let us know if there would be any more. They thought there might be a little more to give back, but they didn't want to commit too much to give back. We will likely have several projects teed up in October. So any money that comes back, any money that's not used, we're not going to waste any of it. We're requesting, one department had money that it took or accepted way back, and we haven't seen activity with that, the public health nurses. So we are sending a letter to them because it has to be used for specifically what it was asked for. And so if they want to give it back and ask for something different with that money, they can, but it has to go back and come back to the board for that. So the 320 or so that we have, we likely can do this bicycle project for a range between 170 and maybe 220 or so, and the hope is that the remainder of the money ARPA has discussed, a good hunk of it. Annie has two small projects that need to get put on one small project that needs to be put on. And then I think that leaves us about, hopefully, around 60, 70,000 for the dog park discussion.
Okay, so you lost me about midway through
Yep.
that, and that would be helpful to get those numbers in
Yep.
writing. But I do think that of the 3,500, that's
For them.
yeah, because then even if we don't want to use ARPA money on it, then at least we did it, and then we can do it later if we want to.
And that land's always surveyed then at that
Yeah,
point.
and it's a relatively discrete amount. Does anybody have anything else on this one?
No.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve ARPA funding for surveying for the bike park on Route 15 Shepherd property.
And I'll get you updated
Yeah,
numbers.
up to 3,500, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
And do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. And Mary, Dallin, thank you for all your work on ARPA. All right, so then we have consideration and possible action on a special one-day liquor license for Shelby Arpin Altruist Brewing Company for the concerts on the Common for June 13th, 20th, 27th, July 4th, 11th, 18th, 25th, August 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So, anybody have any concerns about that?
This is the one, they do this every year, right?
Yeah.
No concerns over here.
All right, so we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to grant a special one-day liquor license for Shelby Arpin Altruist Brewing Company for the concerts on the Common for June 13th, 20th, 27th, July 4th, 11th, 18th, 25th, and August 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, 2024, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
I'll abstain.
And Mary abstains, so 3 and 1 abstention. So
One absent.
and 1 absent, that's true. Consideration and possible action to decommission the Charter Review Committee.
So officially, you have to decommission them, but there was a discussion of whether or not you actually have to decommission and accept the new charter. When I looked at the bylaw, it becomes automatic upon the election. So I don't think that there's any other action you have to take other than decommissioning.
Right.
I was asked about whether or not the board had to accept that charter formally, but as I read
I
the
know
bylaw
it's-
and the charter, it becomes
Yeah.
accepted upon election, which means we're in the new charter. So just a vote to decommission.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the board decommissions the Charter Review Committee.
I will second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. Okay. Consideration and possible action to reappoint Richard Volpe to the Design and Review Committee for a term to expire June 29th, 2027.
I don't know, he's a shady character.
Yeah, that whole operation over there. So, all right.
I'm here to support it.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm married to him.
All right, this is a public meeting, ma'am.
To be recorded.
I know, right? So, all right, do we have a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion that the board reappoint Richard Volpe to the Design Review Committee for a term to expire June 29th, 2027.
I'll second.
Great, all those in favor?
I take it I have to abstain.
No,
No.
Oh, no, oh, okay.
there's no money involved.
All right.
You probably should vote against it. All right, consideration, action item K, consideration and possible action to reappoint Richard Volpe to the Historic Commission for a term to expire June 29th, 2027.
So moved.
I'll say, yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Mary.
go ahead.
No, Mary, go ahead.
Second.
All those in favor? The ayes have it. Consideration and possible action to reappoint Walter Hersey to the Planning Board for a term to expire June 24th, 2029.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Consideration and possible action to reappoint Brad Goodwin to the Planning Board for a term to expire June 17th, 2029.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Consideration and possible action to reappoint Barbara Search to the Historic Commission for a term to expire June 18th, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? The ayes have it. Consideration and possible action to reappoint Chris Castendike to the Design and Review Committee for a term to expire June 17th, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Consideration and possible action to accept the letter of resignation from Matthew Orbitz from the Department of Public Works effective May 3rd, 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept the letter of resignation from Matthew Operzet from the DPW effective May 3rd with our thanks for his service.
Second.
All those in favor?
Was
So
there
we, yes, I was
exit?
just, so I was saying, Heather's been doing exit interviews. We have seen some trends. We are going to do a little bit of, it looks like training with some mid-level management, based on some of what we've seen in the exit interviews, that we hope that we maybe can make a better environment. But we're still competing with the private sector, paying CDL drivers a lot of money. So, you know, if somebody is even remotely unhappy in their work environment, they have a lot of options. But we're working to rectify some of those issues that might be there.
Okay. All right, action item Q, consideration and possible action on an application filed by the Trails Committee for use of Riverlands property for Frost National Trails Day event.
So that's under you, obviously, that property, so you have to approve the application for that crazy group to use the property.
All right, do we have any questions or concerns?
No. I'll make a motion that we approve the sorry, I jumped. My eyes jumped.
The Trails Committee, yeah.
Application by the Trails Committee for use of Riverlands property for Frost on National Trails, for a National Trails Day event.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great. Consideration and possible action on a transient vendor application for James and Jean Mountain, New England Antique Arms Society for a historical, antique, and military show at the Sturbridge Coast Hotel on June 7th and June 8th, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. All right. Any questions from the board?
No, we've done this before.
Yeah. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? The ayes have it. All right, moving on to action item R, S, consideration and possible action on the potential request for proposals for water tower antenna on Fisthill and St. Anne's.
So just for a little background, the St. Anne's Tower, that lease with T-Mobile expired a little while ago, last year. We're just on a continued contractual monthly payment until a new contract is put into place, but technically we have to go out for bid for a proposal for that type of a lease. We are in contact with the church. We have made it very clear to the church that any agreement on use of an easement is between T-Mobile and them. But just so you're aware, there's another discussion going on with that, but we just need to know if we can go off an RFP. Also included in that is the Fisk Hill. You had a presentation from Dish on a Fisk Hill antenna, a shielded antenna. We were originally going to do a license with them, which would not have required an RFP. It would have just simply had to go through we would have had to agree on a number for a monthly payment. It would have still had to go through all the planning and plan development that we talked about when they came here. We still would expect that they would get that reading for that family that was concerned about one of the readings. But in the meantime, they're not comfortable with the license because it doesn't guarantee them 10 or 15 years, and frankly, for them to install that much equipment, they want some guarantee beyond the year to year because boards change and all sorts of things change. So they would rather go for lease process, which means an RFP. I just wanted to put it in front of the board, both of these, because it's a practice that we sort of have to discuss. If we're going to do this, it should all sort of be done the same. It doesn't guarantee, both RFPs say that it does not guarantee that we will award anybody the bid.
No, it makes sense that they wouldn't want a license, I guess, if we kind of think about it. And this is just adding process, not eliminating process.
Exactly. It's one more layer. If somebody else wanted to bid that Dish one and came in with I'm putting a minimum, you have to pay a minimum of X number a month for this lease. If someone comes back with double that and a project that we like just as much, or not, then we could look at that.
Okay. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns from the board?
No.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the potential requests for proposals for water tower antenna on Fisk Hill and St. Anne's.
All right, I will second that. All those in favor?
Thank you.
All right, consideration and possible action to reopen the annual town meeting warrant. I'm assuming this is for action items.
Yep, I just need you to officially open it, yeah.
Yep, all right, do we have a motion?
Motion to reopen the annual town meeting warrant.
I will second. All those in favor? Great. Okay. What's up?
So if I could do U and W together, because they're pretty simple, and we'll talk about V separately.
Okay.
U and W are just some lowering of numbers. Tantasco's number came in actually a little bit lower. You have it on the memo that I sent you, a small drop in that number. And because of the interest rate that we got, our number's a little lower on the senior center number. Remember, that one doesn't affect, it affects the overall budget, but it's on the debt exclusion, so it doesn't really affect our operating. It doesn't mean we have more money to put on the operating. But effectively, the bottom line number on the budget goes down for the total budget because of those two items. So we just want to officially get those numbers accurate, and I need a vote from the board to adjust Article 14, which is the budget, to those numbers reflected in the two memos.
And then 2 memos.
We have a memo that got given to you today
Yeah.
for $545,000 and $478,000.
545,000.
And then you have so I would say it's just a motion to approve the numbers as presented for Article 14. And the reduction is to a number of $8,301,719 for Tantasco.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Concerns?
You gave us the number for the total.
Oh, the total bottom line budget number?
No, I mean.
Oh, Tantasco, the total
8
is $8,301,719.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion then that we approve the updated numbers for the Tantasco school budget and the senior center.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor? All right, guys have it. Okay, so then we're going to V. is
So
what
item
we held
V,
on?
yeah, so you had just, I wanted to keep the board updated on this. This is the one where you all had voted to recommend a split of 50/50 for the replacement water tank well, not everybody. There was a vote a majority vote by the board to support the split of the water tower. FinCom reviewed it. FinCom voted to make the motion for a ratepayer only
Okay.
payment. Couple options, the board can let it go forward like that and take no action, or the board can do a substitute motion, which doesn't happen effectively to the floor, but you would need to probably vote on that as a board now or on May 20th because before town meeting, you can't decide that night. I guess you could on the June 3rd meeting if you really wanted to.
Yeah, we've done
But,
things like that.
but, I mean, I just want to put it on your
do it
radar.
pretty
You don't have to do it today, you could do it on June 3rd before the meeting, at the meeting, and then do it on the floor of town meeting. But I just think it's something that needed to be on your radar, that FinCom is going to present that article to town meeting as a ratepayer only.
What was their reasoning when the argument was made that it benefits the public at large and not just the ratepayers?
They just didn't see it, they felt that it's always been paid by ratepayers, it's a water tower.
Well, if you want a good explanation, go to the FinCom meeting of April 18th.
Yeah.
And the chairman spoke
He gave a,
very well
Yeah,
and gave the reasons why there should be no doubt.
All right, Michelle, can you do
People
us a
is
favor
money.
and find us the time of that, so just
Yeah, I
email
don't
to us
know
so we
which-
don't have to.
it was late in that meeting, well, April 18th FinCom, we'll dig it up. He did,
That'd
he
be
gave a
helpful.
written statement, he had a written
Okay.
statement. We could
Great.
actually ask him
Let's
even
just
to
ask him
present
for it. I
that
just
statement.
wanna
Yeah,
know
if it's in
that.
there, we don't have to make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I want to know his.
But you have the May
FinCom's
20th
reasoning.
or the June 3rd
Yep.
to,
Yeah.
if you
and
decide
Chase
you
is in
want.
here, so we should probably, if it's a disputed vote, and
Or
we'll
you,
probably
or,
get it
yeah,
all together.
yeah. But I just wanted it on your radar, so you don't have to take any action on this tonight. I just
Okay.
felt you needed to
Right.
know that.
I think that's all the town meeting items.
So you
then.
can, well, we have another one after that, but for the special, but.
Oh, the special, but that's not.
So you have to close.
That's what I was getting.
Make a motion to close the warrant for the annual town meeting.
Second.
All those in favor? The ayes have them. All right, consideration and possible action to reopen the special town meeting warrant.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great.
So you had motioned to place Articles 56 and 57, but we didn't have the numbers at the time, so you need a motion to place and support. You have the number now for the snow and ice on Article 56. It would be a motion to place and support $27,692. And then separately, the unpaid bills is $54.18.
Okay.
So we just didn't have the numbers at the time for those two articles.
All right, do we have a motion on Articles 56 and 57?
Okay, I make a motion that we place and support Articles 56 and 57 with the numbers given this evening.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Great, thank you.
Article 60, this one's my bad that it's coming on late. We had talked to OSV a while ago about getting a small triangle of land in the parking lot where our trails start right across from the entrance of OSV on Stallion Hill Road. I believe I had mentioned to the board that Jim Donahue was going to take it in front of his board. They did approve it. That is so that we can do better parking in that parking lot, because right now where the public would walk through to stay on the trail is kind of where cars are parking. And this allows us a little more room in that area. I did not realize I had to go to town meeting because there was no money involved, but because that property is going to be under the control or the day-to-day oversight of trails, in order for the board to assign that to trails, it has to be approved by town meeting. So I needed to add that easement on there. There's no cost other than the normal processes to do an easement. Sturbridge, OSV Jim was very reasonable and willing to do that.
Okay. Any thoughts or concerns from the board?
No.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to include Article 60, Old Sturbridge Village easement to the special town meeting warrant.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, the ayes have it. All right, we're going
Close.
to, oh yeah, we need a motion to
Close.
Yeah, that's where I was going, guys. You just let me go to the next action item.
Oh, sorry about that.
Consideration of possible action to close the special town meeting warrant.
I make a motion to close the special town meeting warrant.
Although, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? The ayes have it. Great, thank you. Consideration and possible action on the permitting and engineering manager job description.
So this was originally the operations manager position. We filled it once. We had a very limited applicant pool. It really was a duplicate, the way it was written, it was a duplication of a foreman's job. And we really were, it was just tailored too closely, and an overlap of duties too closely. And it wasn't getting Heather the assistance that she really needed. It wasn't allowing her the time to do some of the management things she wants to do. So we asked, and we sat down and talked about what is it that she really needs that position to do. And the job description that we put in front of personnel reflects those needs. So we had to retitle it because it is not really an operations manager. With increased in stormwater requirements and licensing, DOT's permitting process, I mean, we know just on the sign, the nightmare that the permitting process was. And, you know, Heather and I are on the phone some afternoon while I'm God knows where, and trying to get last minute approvals and getting in and out of the portal with DOT. It's becoming much more cumbersome. And that's taking up a huge amount of her time. And again, we want to keep Heather working on the things she needs to work on. And so instead of doubling up on a position and having a foreman and an operations manager, this is what we would prefer that position to be. It's in the same grade, so it's you know, financially the same category for us. I absolutely support Heather's direction that she wants to go with, and I think it more reflects the way DPWs are going. In the old days, the highway supervisors were what we had. Now we need people who can do GIS mapping, who can read plans, who can do permitting, who can get into online portals. The highway operations can more than be handled by the foreman with the assistance of Heather and the oversight of Heather. And that person, obviously, there's another person they can still go to. That person still would, in an org chart, have some supervisory responsibilities.
Okay, questions, comments from the board?
No.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the permitting and engineering manager's job description.
Second.
All those in favor? Great.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for hanging.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to old business, and I'm gonna start, because Robin with the TA review on, I'm the holdup there. So I just have to have it.
I figured.
Yeah, I'm a busy guy. And then, so I'll have something on that for the next meeting.
I'm not going to take it personally.
But the other thing I wanted to bring up on old business, it's a little quasi old business and new business. Mary and I went to the Army Corps' master plan. I think that was it Thursday? It was Wednesday of last week, I think. And so, and part of the conversation that occurred was about Streeter Beach. And so there's a couple of things that I think probably makes sense. We have the access there. I think that it's largely, people are in favor of us sort of getting that property, let's say, revitalized and reused. I think there's probably two deliverables we're gonna need. And I think they're both probably under Robin's authority. The first is just lawyers to look at all the property and access points and just to make sure we have all the access that we think we do. And the second one being, we should probably just put a letter in to the Army Corps before their master plan's finalized in the next, I forget when it was. I think it was 2 weeks. Just, stating our intent and just so we're considered alongside that. So I just want to bring those up. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts.
If I could follow up on that, I think that it's a great idea. We've talked about the fact that Streeter Beach was so well received in the past. I have sat with Keith to talk about it. I know anecdotally he can't officially give the blessing of the Army Corps, but he is absolutely supportive of the town doing this. We have preliminarily talked about what it would take to get those rest areas up to handicapped accessible. There's a lot of grant money for that type of stuff, but also, again, we can go back to different aspects and different sources for funding for that, but I think certainly we can find the money. I believe we figured it was somewhere between probably $50,000 and $75,000, relatively short money. And that's all that really needs to happen. There may be some park benches and some cleanup. The road access is the biggest question. There's a debate over whether it's a GNF or the town. Was it abandoned? Was it not? There's anecdotal talk. So really, to Jamie's point, finding out who owns the road, because to put a new access in, Jeff did have paperwork, Jeff Bridges, on that, and to put a new access road was going to be just prohibitively expensive.
I don't think roads go away,
but
that's my recollection off the top of my head. Once that exists.
Yeah, unless it's.
Yeah, unless the town, it doesn't.
Unless they abandon
unless we officially abandon it, and that's there's some anecdotal chatter that I'm trying to get to the bottom of.
And I know we looked at it before, and we even took a vote on some of the,
But I'm happy to keep that, going forward, we'll draft a letter of interest on behalf of the board to let to support that in their master plan, so officially they do have something.
Great.
Thank you.
That was all I had on old business. Mary Blanchard?
no.
Mary Dowling?
I just had a question come to mind in light of these abatements. Did our last bill reflect that we have a leak
Yeah.
list? Okay, I didn't look,
It was in
I'm
my
on
bill.
services and I didn't look. So it did go out.
No excuse.
And
And it's on the
so,
website as well.
I knew it was on the website, but I didn't know if we
Yeah, a little
got the
blurb went
language
in
on the
and a letter,
bill.
and a letter went in. Did you receive a letter? You should have received.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think-
okay.
I don't remember us receiving a letter. I thought we were gonna
No, it
do
was in
away
the-
with
it
the
was in the-
letter.
It's
and
actually
only-
stamped on
Yeah.
the bill.
Yeah, it was stamped on the bill.
Originally,
Did you
we,
get a separate letter in the bill?
no,
I
originally,
don't think so.
we wanted to put it
Yeah, I
on,
couldn't
and we're
even
told that we couldn't, and Chase had the
Yeah, but then we did
idea to
find
send
the
the
spot on
letter.
the bill, right.
And then we said we don't need the letter, it was just going on the bill.
It's on the
Yeah,
bill.
It's on the bill. Okay, I don't have any other old
That's
business.
apparently never been in, so.
Okay, Mary Lou, any new business?
No?
Mary Dowling, any new business? Mary Blanchard, any new business?
I already spoke to Robin about this. You were going to bring up Bill LePage.
Yeah, so, with Nelson's retirement, we have put out for applications. We have a gentleman named Bill LePage right now who is contracted to do our inspections. We're paying him per inspection. He's not supervising Cindy or anything like that, so he's not in a supervisory role. He may come in the office a couple days a week, or a day a week if we need him to review plans, but basically just so inspections don't fall behind. We don't want to rush this process. We want to make sure we get the right person in. Applications did close. We were probably going to re-advertise. We get some applications, but we'd like a broader pool of applicants before we make a decision. It's far too important. Not that every job's not important, but this one really impacts the public tremendously. And so in the meantime, Mr. LePage, who is a retired inspector, who I guess had moved to Florida, did not like Florida.
Can't blame him.
And I'm right with him on that. And came back, so to me, he must have been, he's an okay guy. And he came back to New England, and so he is doing, we're paying him per inspection to go out, which at the rate that we would have paid anybody who was an interim or a fill-in when Nelson went away. And then if we need him to come into the office to do some plan review, he would get an hourly wage for that.
Yeah, of course, Mary.
Can I go back? I don't know if this was old or new, but maybe for next year, we can try to keep in mind, in April, we always raised a flag on the common for Donate Life.
Yeah, they approach us.
I know, but I think the person who typically approaches us may or may not have been in a position, I don't know. I did see a resident on the news and indicating that needed another transplant. I mean, I'm sure it's public knowledge, because this person was on the news, on the evening news. And it has been, for many years, and I just think it is a great cause, and I don't know if we shouldn't take the initiative maybe next April to resurrect Donate Life Fund.
We can look at that, but we need to discuss a policy overall. The Boston courts have been, there's a case pending with the Boston Supreme Court about non-government speak, and once you introduce one non-government flag, the door opens for all non-government flags to have to be put up, and we cannot pick and choose. So a government flag is the American, on town properties, is the American flag, the MIA flag, and any of the 4 branches of the military.
Okay. And this is pending where?
So
Before the
Boston
ma-
had a case in front of the Supreme Court because a group.
The
took
Mass
city-
Judicial Court.
Yeah, a group took the city of Boston because they had displayed one flag, but they rejected another flag.
So this case hasn't been resolved?
Actually, it was resolved.
Oh, it was?
And yes, and the decision was that if you open the door to one non-government speak flag, you must put them all up. It's becoming very difficult now because a lot of
So
times.
there's no discretion?
There's no discretion once you
Okay.
get to that point. We are very careful, for instance, if somebody drapes a flag on a sign around a building, it's borderline. If you hang a flag in a building, it's borderline, but to put a flag up on a pole, it's
Can you
pretty
get us a
clear.
brief from Copeland?
I will get you, I'll get you the latest.
That's unfortunate. So
Yeah.
American Heart Association, none of these charitable, we have to decline all of it.
And it's becoming even an issue, like towns a lot of times used to do the Armenian flag raising in honor of the genocide, the Greek flag raising in honor of their genocide, but now that's become somewhat.
Okay, yeah, I just would like, I guess this went by me, I wasn't aware of this
Yeah,
case.
I'll get you the details on that case, but it's become a discussion amongst all the town administrators on what
So
our
now
flag
nothing goes
policies
up,
are.
basically.
Yeah.
Pretty much not.
Yeah, and make sure what all of our speech, because that seems like a slippery slope beyond
Yeah.
flag, so let's get coordinated on that, please,
Yeah.
Robin.
Okay, all right, thank you for
Thanks for bringing it there.
clarification. We put out Donate for Life at least for 10 years that I've been here, and it's never been an issue, and they usually had a host ceremony.
They can put it out in front of my house.
It came under some scrutiny with, when Bob Reed was here, actually.
Okay.
That particular one, there was a discussion, so.
All right, yeah, no, we get the
Yeah.
gist of it. All right, and then for me, for new business, my wife is super pregnant, guys. All right, all right, onwards and upwards.
She's got a
She's super pregnant, not just pregnant, she's super pregnant.
So, all right, onwards.
Wait a minute,
Oh,
Robin, did you want to vote on?
Well, and I don't know, does that fall into the charter for non-supervisory? It's not a first responder and it's non-supervisory, so I don't care, it doesn't ever hurt to vote.
We normally vote on any position, even summer rec people.
Yeah, but that's the new charter says you don't.
Yeah.
So I don't care, but the new charter actually says that those don't come in front of you anymore. But I'm fine, it doesn't matter to me if you do or don't.
I think Robin's right, though.
Unless
Didn't
it's
we clarify
supervisory or first responder.
That when it's not.
But if you want to vote on Bill tonight, just
I
to
don't
be
care.
certain, it doesn't matter to me.
Oh, I gotta go read it again.
Well, it's, I think, well, let's just take a vote just in
Yeah,
case.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't
There's
care,
a-
so.
Yeah, it never hurts.
I make a motion to approve the part-time use of Bill LePage on a temporary basis, as discussed.
Second.
All those in favor? The ayes have it. All right, correspondence, Miss Mary. Not you, the other, it's the clerk.
You know, while we're on that then,
The
so,
official.
before we go forward on that then, he will also be able to sign as the zoning
I have
official.
National Grid.
I just want to make sure that that's clear. Yeah.
Right here.
Oh, sorry, it's a separate document.
Which is,
Okay. Okay. Letter to the Sturbridge, to the Board of Selectmen Chairperson dated April 22nd, 2024, from National Grid regarding carrying out late winter spring mechanical control procedures. A notification to abutters, Conservation Commission, under the Mass Wetlands Protection Act and the Town of Sturbridge Wetland Bylaws regulations. And the applicant is Town of Sturbridge, the location's River Road, and it was received April 30th, 2024. Those are the only two letters.
thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Okay. What's up?
We did get a letter email from the library trustees,
We did?
yes.
Oh, on that article, I believe that's going to be, Mr. Hersey indicated he will bring that back next year.
Yeah, we still
But-
received it.
Yeah, finance, yes.
And I did receive, and I don't know if, I think it went to all the board, a letter from a resident on Fisk Hill.
84.
Oh, is that the one expressing their concern and disapproval of the Welcome to Sturbridge sign?
Yeah, we've had a few of those. I've had a few positives and a few
I've only
negatives,
had
so.
one, I've only had one that went to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got one from her and I got one from him.
Okay, I definitely got one from her, I don't
I
remember.
didn't get any.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, it didn't go to everybody?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any of those, but I could, I got a lot of email, but, all right, and then, was there anything else on the correspondence?
Nope.
All right, on to approval of minutes. We cannot do the February 21st minutes because Chase is not here.
So we hold it again.
Hold it again. On to the March 18th, 2024 minutes. Do we have any edits?
I don't.
I didn't find any.
I didn't find any either.
Okay, I'll make a motion then to approve the minutes of March 18th, 2024 as written.
We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
It looks like I was absent, so I will abstain.
Were you?
I didn't think so, but it says Mary Dowling absent clerk.
Oh, but you're in here that says.
I know, I thought I
you weren't
came a little
absent.
bit, and we talked
is the
about
one
the
about the-
leaks.
It's about the polls on.
Yeah, awesome.
from
Yeah,
National
oh yeah, I
Grid.
was definitely here.
Yeah, you came
Oh, that's what, you came a little late to that one.
came
after
Yeah.
you walk.
After,
So
something,
up to
so.
you.
Yeah, okay, so I think that's.
I think
the-
I arrived 30 minutes late,
Yeah.
or 20 minutes, somewhere around
Yeah.
So I
there.
guess that should be noted at the top.
Yes.
So, that makes more sense. All right, great. All right, so then, moving to April 9th, 2024. Any edits?
Well, we didn't,
We didn't vote on
we
the
didn't vote
18th.
on
Oh, sorry.
it's okay.
Do we have well, all those, we had motions and no vote, so. All those in favor?
Wait a minute.
We didn't make a motion on that one.
Oh, I thought we did.
No, we amended it, but we didn't make the.
Oh, you think you're tired now?
I'll make a motion that we approve the March 18th, 2024 minutes as amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
You think
So
you're
know
tired
what
now,
amendment
Jamie?
that
Just wait.
says what time I arrived. Okay.
Yeah, subject to amendment. All right, April 9th, 2024, do we have any edits?
I didn't find any.
I didn't either.
Mary Dowling?
I'm good with that.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of April 9th, 2024 as written.
Second.
All those in favor? Great. All right, on to, and this is just myself, Mary Blanchard, and Mary Lou. This is the quick meeting.
I don't have that one, but.
I don't have it either.
Just a single sheet. Okay, I probably
Yeah,
need to buy something else. Hey, just take a look at it. I think it was just for Enrico's.
Yeah.
There we go, Mary Lou.
Oh, wait, this one, I have it. I have it. I just found
Oh,
it.
giving me a hard time about the vote. You don't even know what you got over there.
It was stuck on a staple.
Yeah. All right.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the April 22nd, 2024 meeting.
Okay, second.
Okay.
All those in favor? And one abstention, Michelle. Okay, citizens forum, nobody is here. All right, so, executive session.
Yeah, vote all the way to the language,
I'm all messed up too.
put everything together. Hold on. Yeah. Sorry, I have to find my agenda list again. The motion.
Yeah, Michelle, thank you.
You have another one for me? Thanks. All right, let's see. I'll make a motion that pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 21, Subparagraph 3, to go into executive session and not to reconvene in open session, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares.
And do we want to adjourn from there?
I said, and I said already not to re-adjourn.
All right, great. This chair so declares. Mary Lou, how do you vote?
Yes?
Mary Dowling, how do you
Yes.
vote? Mary Blanchard?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right. See you then, we're off.